and for being so forthcoming to our committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Blumenthal. Senator Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I won't belabor the points that my colleagues have made in reference to Iran, but I agree with most of what was said. But I just want to emphasize how important it is that we ensure that Israel has everything it needs from us to close any intelligence capability gaps it has with respect to Iran. Do both of you agree with that recommendation or suggestion?
Yes, sir, and I think both of us have been proponents for sharing intelligence with the Israelis. I'll be going there next week to engage with the Israeli intelligence officials to discuss that very point.
Great, thank you. And Director, also just to add on a little bit more, my colleagues have already mentioned Syria and how the people are enduring serious attacks from Assad. Earlier this week, the head of al-Qaeda released a video calling on all Muslims in the country surrounding Syria to join the fight against the Assad regime. And given that the President and the administration officials continue to say it's not a matter of if, but when it will fail and fall, are we prepared for the situation of a possible failed state where al-Qaeda enjoys a safe harbor and refuge and from which to coordinate attacks, i.e., like, what's the plan if Syria falls?
Well, that's a great question, sir, because what would succeed, who would succeed, or what would succeed Assad is a mystery. I mean, we certainly don't know. I don't. What would ensue? And as I quote that I read in my my oral remarks here at the outset of the testimony, quoting the Roman historian Tacitus, when he said, you know, the best day after a bad emperor is the first day, and after that, I would add, it kind of goes downhill. And there is no identifiable group that would succeed him. And so there would be kind of a vacuum, I think, that would lend itself to extremists operating in Syria, which is particularly troublesome in light of the large network of chemical warfare, CBW, weapon storage facilities and other related facilities that there are in Syria.
I agree. And now I have a concern that al-Qaeda in Iraq is moving towards Syria and consolidating themselves there now. Do you have any evidence of that?
Yes, sir, we do. We've seen evidence of extremists, Sunni extremists. Can't label them specifically as al-Qaeda, but similar ilk who are infiltrating the oppositionist groups, in many cases probably unbeknownst to those opposition groups.
And just to shift gears a little bit, the Fort Hood shooting, I know that there were some recommendations made regarding information sharing. What's the status of that? And can you tell me a little bit about the counterintelligence community and what they're doing to help the leaders on the ground identify potential breakdowns like the one we saw at Fort Hood?
Not sure what you're...
Well, in the wake of the key reforms have yet to be completed, particularly in the area of information sharing, which continues, I think, to put our nation at risk for homegrown terrorism and insider threats. Are you getting all the information you need from U.S. agencies to adequately address our domestic threats, do you think?
Well, sir, I think I'll put it this way. I think we've come a long way in the last 10 years in information sharing. It's a big focus for me, for the Office of Director of National Intelligence, sharing vertically across the agencies as well as, or horizontally and vertically as well with federal, state, local, tribal, and private sector. There's been a lot of work done towards that. It's an emphasis area for me, and I do think we've made great improvements. But at the same time, of course, we've had episodes like WikiLeaks, which reminds us of the need to balance the sharing and security. So we always have that fine line to draw between those two. But I think we've improved, but there's always more to do.
Great. Well, thank you both.